Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shooting the Breeze. I am your main man, Soda, and as always, I'm joined by Ben. How you doing, Ben?
Good. How are you?
Emotionally drained right now, very emotionally drained, but I will survive. Anyways, our special guest tonight is the other half of Spin from the Reel, Chris Anthony Lopez. How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm doing great, y'all. Thanks for inviting me on the program.
Of course.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit flustered when you asked me. I'm like, me? Like, people don't ask me to do their shows too often. So, like, when I do get the invite, I'm like, oh, yes, of course I will.
Yeah, I understand that because in like our shows in the North group, it's Lou's the one that's like everywhere. So me, Dave, and Dan, we don't really go anywhere else. I think I've done the most guest spots, but it's only been a few.
Same with me. I don't do that many myself.
Yeah, like out of Matt and I at Spin from the Reel, Matt definitely. I think Matt just has more time to do more things than I do.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like I'm a pretty busy guy on top of like the Spin from the Reel is just one of the many things that we do.
Yeah,
Or at least that I do. Not only on our YouTube channel, Who Are They Real Entertainment, by the way, but I my podcast that I do outside of that, and my job. I essentially work all day and night, so it just depends on what I got going on. But
yeah,
I appreciate y'all inviting me on the program.
Of course, and I'm totally with you. My thing though is because in the Shrills of the North, I am the only one on the West Coast, so it is very hard for me to join them. Like, for example, Lou, when the stereo first came out, Lou's like, "Hey, do you guys want to join in on stereo?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm still at work for like another 2 hours."
Right.
It's hard to join in on things like that when, well, for example, like we're gonna pre-record. Dave and I are gonna be recording an episode tomorrow covering the 3 matches from this week.
Right.
But we're like, okay, let's record at 5. But then I found out there was a third match. So for me, I'm off work at 4:30. I got to record at 5. I won't have time to watch the match.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that it can be hard to coordinate. So I'm glad Ben's on the West Coast with me.
Glad to help.
Yeah. Okay, so every week our guest comes with a topic. However, this week we didn't know beforehand. So this is interesting. I am really curious, man. What is your jumping off topic?
So, and again, when you told me that I pick what we chat about, there's a lot of pressure because it's like, what do I want to pick? Obviously, y'all watch the show not just as much as I do. So I'm like, no, we talk enough of that. I don't want to do that.
Of course.
Or do we want to talk movies? Like, of course, like we all love movies in some capacity. It's like, nah, like I bet we talk about movies enough. Or maybe we'll talk about movies at some point over this. I don't know.
Yeah, we usually start off on a topic and we just veer a hard left every time.
Right, and that's perfectly fine. But the day you asked me to come on this show and you said I picked the topic, I just got done having a conversation with someone, and they told me, well, they asked me, like, hey, Chris, have you heard of that hotel that's going to go to space? And I said, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because I don't know if y'all heard, but there are these people. There's gonna be like a citizen only flight to space. It's like SpaceX or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's only citizens, like regular people, going to space. And apparently, like my friend bought into whatever article he read, saying that they're gonna build a hotel in space. And then we talked the logistics of that forever. Like, how would that work? So I want to ask you guys, how would a hotel, not living in space, a hotel in space? Because a hotel, you only stay temporary.
Yeah.
You're meant to only be there for X amount of time. That's not your home. You don't live there. So how do you guys think a space hotel would work, essentially?
Well, at first, I think they'd have to figure out how to do construction in space, because I work at a hardware store, so I'm a little familiar with these things, and I'm just like, the amount of modifications you'd have to do to that hotel, and how the hell would you get your material up there, and can we be the supplier? I think, truthfully, you'd have to be foolish to do a hotel in space.
I mean, Ben, what are your 2 cents, Ben? If you
have, I can honestly say I have no idea. The first thing that comes to my mind is gravity.
Yeah.
We don't have any up there.
Right.
So how do you...
You do have plenty of parking space.
And that's another thing. How do you get there? Right? Like, how would you get there? And like when my friend told me about this, I was just in awe, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. This was what what's today? Thursday? You asked me on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and I'm still thinking about it, like the logistics of how it would work. And I know space is like it's like the what's the oh my god, this is embarrassing. I'm forgetting. It's like there's no one claiming space. There's no one saying like space belongs to America or
Gotcha.
space belongs to Canada or Russia or China or whoever the hell. So how would that work? Say us here in the States, we're like, you know what? We're gonna pre-build a hotel and shoot that son of a gun into space. And we'll figure out the logistics, like obviously.
Yeah.
But like, how would y'all up in Canada would feel? It's like, wait, can I come? Is this the US only thing? And that's when we start talking, we start having that conversation.
Yeah, that would be tough. Like right as soon as you said that's like it has to be the UN would have to be in charge of it, right?
Right.
Because yeah, how do you mark down something that's an international territory?
Because it's like international waters, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. It's like trying to claim the Atlantic Ocean for the States or for Canada. It's like that's not how it works.
Right, but it's just space. Like space where we have no idea what's going on in space.
And then of course, like what type of hotel would it be? Would it be like a B&B? Would it be a Roach Motel? Would it be a Ritz-Carlton? Like what would it be?
And you have to think about this. There's no internet in space. None.
True. How would you entertain yourself?
There's no.
Because I mean, after a while, moonwalking would kind of get boring.
As fun as it would be.
Yeah. You'd have to have space suits because that would be a bad smell.
Yeah.
Ben's really thinking hard on this.
What?
You're really thinking hard on this, aren't you?
Yeah, this is a little bit of my. As soon as you said what it was, I'm like, my friend Tony would love this topic because my friend Tony's a regular astro nut.
You can bring board games with you.
You could. Ooh, you could bring a solar charger.
Word, yeah, like so, because with what, like space is so fascinating to me, and I'm not smart, so I wouldn't have lasted if I would have tried to study this space stuff. I'm just so fascinated by it. It's one of those things where, like, I like hearing about it, but I'm never gonna like invest my life to it. Like animals fascinate the hell out of me. It's to be as grounded literally as I can. Like animals, the ocean. Like, how much of the ocean have we seen? Barely any of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
Well,
space. Go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I'm going to say, what's more terrifying for you? Traveling up there? Or traveling to the deep depth of the ocean?
Oh, man. What's scarier? I mean, realistically, what's scarier to me is the water, like what's going down, like what's at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Like that's what I would love to know. I will never find out because A, I can't swim.
Yeah.
And B, like it's terrifying. Plus, it's already here on Earth. Like whatever's in space has to come to us, and odds are we'll see it before it gets here. In the water, we have no idea if like Cthulhu would just come out of the Pacific Ocean. It's like it all
comes down to just how much room there is in the craft for me because I am claustrophobic and I have seen multiple movies or documentaries where they died to the Titanic and I'm like, there's no fucking way I'd last 3 hours in that thing. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, like, I've never been on a boat, at least not to my knowledge. If I was,
boat? Really?
No, dude. Okay, so like I don't do outside.
Okay,
like I don't, and that's just how I was
COVID
raised.
was a blessing for you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, kind of to an extent. I loved. Okay, let me rephrase. Camping, to hard pass. Like I would say no in a heartbeat. Like I'd have to be convinced. Like I say, Chris, you want to go camping? I don't. I don't know about that.
Is there a motorhome? Then no.
Right? Is it a cabin? Like you know, like camping in a cabin? You know, I was like that. I'm cool with. But you want me to pitch a tent and lay in the grass overnight? Like that's a hard sell.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's one of those things where oh my god. But no, to answer your original your question, Ben, the water, because it's already here. Like whatever is there is already here. Like, and what if I don't know if Godzilla were to pop up and land and destroy San Francisco. It's like that's not something I'm willing to find out.
Yeah.
And that scares the hell out of me because space we can see it coming. The ocean probably not. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
because once you get down to a certain depth, even with all the lights in the world, you can't see more than 10 feet in front of you.
which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like that's so scary. Like I'm not scared of the dark by any means. Like
Yeah.
if all the lights are just turned off right now, I wouldn't be freaked out.
Yeah. Like
it's the unknown.
One of the things I learned by watching all those Titanic documentaries is like when they finally reach the bottom, when they're getting to the ship, they don't know it's there until it's like, what, 20 feet in front of them? That's how dark it is down there.
Okay, Matt, I know you're the expert here on the Titanic. How deep is it?
2.5 miles down to the bottom of the ocean floor.
Wait, two and a half miles down?
Down. I mean, I believe it is 2.5 miles down. Just give me a second. How far down is the Titanic? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
The Titanic is that like? Because I'm trying to think.
Oh, so we're not 2.5 miles. I totally fucking read that wrong. It's 370 miles.
See, now that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know where I got the 2.5 miles from.
Like 2.5 miles. That's not too far. That's not too deep. Like the ocean's only 2.5 miles deep.
Sorry, what I was. Yeah, so it's 1,250 feet, which is 3.8 kilometers, 2.37 miles.
That's wait. In regards to what?
Yeah, sorry. The 370 miles is actually off the coast. So 370 miles out into the ocean. It's 2.5 miles down deep.
Oh, okay. Word. So I'm like, huh. Well, still, like the fact that
far down, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 miles. Like that's it's so scary, dude. And the Titanic, and I don't want this conversation to turn into us talking about the Titanic. Like, that
I could wax poetically for hours.
Yeah, but the Titanic, I mean, what a disaster, and like it's still so like, huh? Like it's still talked about to this day, which I still can't believe.
Well, one of the things is that plays into it. You ever watched Doctor Who?
No, but I'm familiar.
You ever heard of the term "a fixed point in time"?
Yeah.
Basically, that's what the Titanic is. It is an unavoidable, important moment in the history of time because if it wasn't for that, like going into it, man was probably at his most arrogant. They thought it was indestructible, hence why they called it the unsinkable Titanic. You know, everyone thought they can do everything, hence why they tried to get to New York faster or whatever. It was that particular moment when they hit the iceberg when they realized, okay, maybe we're not as invincible as we thought we were, because that's one of the reasons why they didn't have many lifeboats is because, we're not going to sink. Right. There's no fucking way in this world this ship's going to sink. And then all of a sudden when they did, it's like, crap. There were so many safety code violations, as it were, that particular moment in time completely changed ocean travel forever. Because of that, strict safety regulations were put in place. You had to have the right amount of lifeboats. You had to have the right amount of life vests. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's why it's still talked about, because it is such an important moment, and also it also proposes the question: what would you do if you knew you had 2 hours left to live?
Oh, Jesus!
Think about it.
That's deep, dude.
Yeah, think about it. You strike an iceberg. You're in the middle of the ocean. Your ship's starting to sink. How are you going to live the last 2 hours of your life?
Oh my God. Oh, geez. And when did the Titanic sink? I don't know.
April 14th, 1912.
Wow. I'm
really, 109 years old.
Yeah.
It's 109th anniversary.
Yeah, and the biggest Titanic graveyard is in Newfoundland, Canada, and the ship that rescued most of the bodies was a Canadian steamer called the McKay Bennett. That's a movie I would like to see them do, is the recovery of the bodies. I think that is a fascinating story.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I do have a
book on it
that I got to get back from my friend, but they just hearing it described, and it was like how many bodies they had to bury at sea and having to haul these people out, and like there was a baby they found with no identification, whatever. So all the crew members of the boat paid for the casket and the tombstone and stuff like that. Oh, it's just so many stories.
That's morbid.
Yeah. I would not be able to handle that type of job.
Or just watching that hypothetical movie, that story be told in some type of film, whether documentary or other.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more forgotten aspects of that story. Because of course, and rightfully so, the sinking of the ship is the big story, but there's more.
But the aftermath,
exactly, and
what happened immediately afterwards.
Yeah, and the people like not knowing what happened to their families, having to wait for like lists of dead bodies that were recovered to find out. Like just the whole thing, having to travel to Newfoundland to try to maybe recover somebody that you knew was on the ship. Like there's a lot of deep stuff in that story, and that's why people I think still talk about today, because it's a fascinating subject, and there's just so much introspection in there and stuff like that, right?
Well, let me ask you something, man. I'm curious. Were you into all this Titanic stuff even before James Cameron's movie?
No, it was the movie that kickstarted. I was 10 years old when the movie came out, and it was the movie that kickstarted that interest for me. Okay. Like I'd heard about it, but it was the movie where I was like, I want to learn more on this, and so I read every book in my hometown on it, and watch all the documentaries.
I said maybe we were going to talk about movies, and here we are. But I will say that the first movie I remember crying to was Titanic.
Oh, it's such a great movie.
I watched it. Well, not because of the reason why you think I watched it, or reason why I cried. Well, because I watched it on TV. Get this. I don't know if y'all even have it up there. It was on VH1.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if
it was like a variant.
I didn't have it, but it was a thing up here, of course.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a variant of like. I know it's under the MTV brand.
No, so we know what VH1 is.
Word. Okay, cool. So I watched it on VH1, and maybe it was VH1, something like that. And I remember watching it in my living room, and my mom was getting ready for work, and I'm just like, and I'm just crying. And she's like, "Why are you crying?" She looked at the TV. She's like, "Oh, like Jack and Rose." I'm like, "No, you look at all those people.
Yeah,
like people were like, they just so they wouldn't have to suffer when they passed away. It's like all the things that were going on. So many people lost their lives, and like you said, if you knew, like if you got on the Titanic knowing you were gonna die, like hours later, days later, it's like, what would you do?
Yeah,
what would you do?"
Yeah, like, would you do like Bruce Ismay and cowardly sneak onto a lifeboat, which really did happen? Or would you do like one of the founders of Macy's and say, we lived a good life and lay down on a deck chair with your wife and
like water? That is so thought-provoking. Like what, and especially like, and at the time, like, how would you contact your loved ones?
But you couldn't.
You couldn't. Like,
yeah, and that's one of the reasons. That's a funny thing, because that's one of the reasons why there weren't that many. A lot of the iceberg warnings were coming in is because Marconi operators, which is the wireless people, they weren't employees of the ship line. They were independent, so they didn't work for the people on the ship. They worked for the passengers. So the passengers were constantly tying up the lines with trying to get messages to their loved ones. That's why very few iceberg warnings came through.
Oh my god, that's so messed up. Like,
oh yeah, and
I would
like you remember after the sinking when you saw Fifth Officer Lowe, he's going trying to find bodies, he's paddling through. That is 100% accurate. That actually was how it went down.
That's terrifying, dude. Yeah. Like, and it's so sad, and I don't want to talk about this anymore because it's making me sad. But
I do want to add one more thing though to this, and this is why one of the things I will always give James Cameron's props for this movie is he did his research. He brought on Don Lynch, who's the foremost Titanic historian, to work with him, and they also got Ken Marshall, whose book Titanic: An Illustrated History was used for a lot of the big shots of the ship and we've seen, what have you. And because of people like that, he was able to get so much historical accuracy in this film. And one of my coolest favorite things was he did a documentary a few years later called Ghosts of the Abyss, where narrated by Bill Paxton. And basically they went down to go inside the grand staircase for the first time with submersibles. So trying to get in, they managed to go down the promenade deck, which nobody had ever gone down. And it was discovered that it looks exactly like James Cameron pictured it would 4 years earlier, and he put it on screen. Where at the very end, where you're going in and it transitions to back to the days of the ship, and you see Jack and Rose at the top staircase, it looked exactly like that. And nobody before that had ever been able to get into that promenade deck.
There is one line in that movie that always fucking bugs me. And it's not a line you would normally think about. But
what is it?
Let's hear it.
And Jack has hit the walls when she comes down the staircase and he kisses her all dressed up and he says, I saw that on Nickelodeon and I always fucking wanted and I always wanted to try that.
Why do you hate that line? Because of the Nickelodeon. Why don't you like that line? It's because of Nickelodeon?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yes, it does. Because you know why? Yes, it does make sense. Because the original motion pictures, the 2-minute things, you know what they were called?
What?
Nickelodeons. That's where the channel got its name from. That is historically accurate.
My man, you just blew my man's mind. My man's speechless. Look, Titanic, the actual making of the movie is spectacular. Like, looking at like the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, they built shit. Like, they built replicas. Like, it was nuts.
2/3 scale, but still, they built the ship.
They built the ship, and it is insane. And obviously, like, I think it's really good. I think the movie's fantastic.
It's top 5. It's my number 4 favorite movie of all time.
Whoa!
Yeah. After all these years.
Holy! I
have the one sheet framed in my living room.
Wow. That's specifically your 4th favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, my top 5 is pretty concrete. It's Rocky, League of Their Own, Tommy Boy, Titanic, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Wow, what a diverse crop of movies.
Yeah.
Oh my! You said
my top 3. No, mine.
Well, I know what your number 1 is.
My top 4. I'm feeling concrete.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Nice.
Logan.
What's going on?
Beauty and the Beast. And what was the last one?
Live action, nothing I haven't animated. No, I'm kidding.
I like the live action, but no, the animation. And there was one more. Damn, no.
So your top 3 are concrete. Fourth
one's in flux.
What about you, man? Do you have a firm like top 5?
No, I don't. Like people. So a thing I do on my personal podcast. It's not on YouTube. I bring on people and I ask them what their favorite movie is, and we just talk about it, like why they love it so much, and like what takes them back to it. And I ask people that, and the reason why I came up with that idea was because I am the guy that when you ask them, like, what's your favorite movie, Chris? And I think to myself, like, and I give you like 10 things. So I'm like, oh, like I love this one, this one, this one, this one. So I'll be that guy right now, and I'll give you guys some. They're not concrete. Yeah. I can't, and one day I'll do it, and it's gonna break my heart. Dumb and Dumber, Friday.
Nice. Which I just saw for the first time late last year.
Woo! That's
very late to Friday.
Oh, it's so good. It's so funny.
I'm gonna watch the other ones later.
I mean, you're in no rush.
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yep.
Freaking Captain America.
That's another one sheet. OG one sheet in my life.
Oh my god, yo, freaking Last Crusade. That movie's so good.
Oh yeah.
I second Ben's and love Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Back
me
to
too.
the Future. Like that's
that's top 10.
I rewatched the first one. Well, no, I rewatched all 3 during like late last summer during when we were all quarantining.
Mm-hmm.
While I was just like sad because I couldn't see my friends or my family, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Back to the Future, and I guarantee it bought me those few months until I moved to Oklahoma, where I'm at now. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Back to the Future. Those movies are so good. All 3 of them. I will defend the hell out of that 3rd one.
Yeah, it's a great Western.
Yes, it is. For me, that is the perfect trilogy.
Ooh. No, yeah, because if we're counting movies or series that don't have a 4th film, like those 3 they're so tight, and
it's as close to perfect as you'll get.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and name me another trilogy.
Like the first one is on its own tier. Like let's not.
Of course.
But the other 2 are just as good.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a point in my life where I preferred part 2 over the first one. Like, and it was a long time. Like when I found Back to the Future when I was in high school, And when I mean found, I mean my stepfather, he bought the Blu-rays. He had the Blu-rays, the collection at the time, before they re-released the collection and did it again. But the first time they did it, he's like,
my third set.
Right. He's like, Chris, he's like, have you seen Back to the Future? And I'm like, no. And he looked at my mom. He's like, you failed him because you know he'd like this. So we watched the first one night, the three of us, and I was just in awe watching. It's the power of love. Like I'm like, this movie rules.
No need money, no need fame,
and
need no credit card around it. Yeah. Sorry.
It's so good. No, you're fine. And they're like, okay, Chris, like we're gonna go to sleep. Yo, does it make lights and sounds? Oh, that's so dope. My god. If the doors pop, I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's even cooler! No, yep. That's so dope.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And I always wanted one of those. I have the only one.
That's so I only paid for this one. I paid like $75.
Worth it.
Yeah, they're not that bad. I know they're being lazy about it.
Yeah.
But like after I watched the first one, my folks were like, "All right, Chris, we're gonna go to bed now." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I popped in the second Blu-ray, and I watched the second one, and I'm like, "This movie rules!" And then I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, bang.
No 50, you're gonna have to kill me for it.
Dang, $75. Like that's all it took.
Yeah, I just said at a comic book store in Calgary.
Oh, so you went to so that's you gotta find that cool stuff.
Yeah. It was one of those hole in the wall. Basically, you had like your main comic book store upstairs, but we went downstairs where you saw the cool stuff.
I started doing that recently because I got into I shouldn't say I'm a toy freak because I'm obviously not. It was like besides like my pops and stuff behind me. But I like getting action figures now when I see cool ones, and by figures I mean like the wrestling ones that I got. Like I got my AEW figures all over the place. Dang. But
you're gonna like this. I just picked this up at Walmart on the weekend.
I love me a good Walmart fig hunt. Let me see.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hold up. Here we go.
Who is that?
Macho Man Randy Savage in his WrestleMania 3 gear.
Ooh, I'm always prepared.
Yeah,
always prepared for Macho Man. Yo,
and of course, I got my
god.
obligatory Rocky figures.
Yo, dude, I love figs so much, and that freaking
Warrior.
Oh, that's hard too.
Yep.
Oh my god, you're out of. Did you buy those out of the box? Or you take them out?
I bought them. I bought them when they came out, and I wasn't thinking about keeping them in the box at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like. I mean, you like to let them breathe. I totally get it. Like, I'm Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Another childhood favorite was Spider-Man. Like that's the first movie I remember seeing in the theater. Was the first Spider-Man.
I haven't watched that Sam Raimi trilogy in God, it's got to be over 10 years.
Oh, me neither, but I will say this: the film like that, a lot of hate that it doesn't deserve, in my opinion.
I think I've seen. This may sound unpopular. I think I've seen the third one more than the other two. As crazy as it sounds, because I owned. Because growing up, like folks didn't have too much money, so what I got is what I got. And Spider-Man 3 is one of those I got on.
50. You lovable weirdo.
I like the third one's the one I had on DVD, so I watched it all the time to where it was like Stockholm syndrome.
VHS like for me.
Wait, no,
I'm old.
That freaking.
Wait, what did you say?
I said VHS for me. I had the first two on VHS.
I had a movie.
No.
Oh, the VHS movie? No, not that. No, but and hold that thought. I want to ask about VHS in a second. But Spider-Man 3, I watched it so much. Maybe it became Stockholm syndrome. Ben, I think you brought up Beauty and the Beast. That's that's how I feel about Spider-Man 3. Like, and by the way, that live action movie is fantastic. It's
my favorite. I do like the added stuff. It's definitely one of the better of the live action ones. Yeah,
100%. But like Spider-Man 3, I convinced myself that Topher Grace is a great Eddie Brock. That what they did with the Sandman was cool for the most part.
That's my favorite part of that movie. Even though it's been a long time since I've seen it, I still remember enjoying the Sandman story arc, and that more or less he was doing it just because wrong place, wrong. His daughter, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right, and I like the spin that he didn't mean to kill Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
It was all one big misunderstanding. Thomas Hayden Church actually did a kick-ass job with that role. So like it's just the freaking the dancing and the venom with Peter.
Yeah,
I can't. And then the wishy-washy nature of him and Mary Jane's relationship got old by the time the third one came around.
I've always been a Gwen Stacy Peter person myself.
Ooh,
that's predating Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, so that's like a comic thing.
Yeah, for me, I've got a wall plaque of the death of Gwen Stacy comic book cover on my wall.
Oh shit! What did you think of the Lion King live action remake? Am I being honest?
Yes,
I didn't like it.
Okay. I didn't either until I rewatched it a couple of months ago, and I thought animate's still better, but there was some good stuff in it.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Geek. It's his favorite movie is The Lion King. Like every episode of a show we do with him, he somehow sneaks it in.
Word. I mean, it's a great segue. Is it the '94 Lion King? Is that his favorite movie?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. That's great. That's a good, really good one. My issues with the remake. So I watched it twice in 3 days when it came out in the theater. So I watched the one time because I'm a big Donald Glover fan. Like I love Childish Gambino. I love Donald Glover. I'm a big fan of his. So he got top billing on the trailer in the poster. I'm like, like he's Mufasa. Like this is perfect. I love Lion King. I love Donald Glover. Marriage of the two. I watched the movie and I said, okay. And I'm like, you know what? I'm watching it again on a bigger screen and with louder speakers. So maybe it was the experience that really did it. That didn't do it for me. So I'm gonna go and switch it up. And I didn't like it even more the second time. I got bored.
Like I saw it in theaters. I didn't see it again until not that long ago, and I said, you know what? Because 50 kept telling me like, give it a chance. It's actually not that bad. I did, and he's right. It's not that bad. It's not the best of the remakes, but there is a lot of enjoyable stuff in there.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Might sound blasphemous. I think he's a better Simba.
No, he is. No, no. Matthew Broderick did a kick-ass job with it.
You didn't like JTT as Simba?
I'm talking adult Simba.
Yeah. Like that, what's the kid's name? J.D. McCrary that did young Simba.
I think
he was a great young Simba too. Like he like the castings were fine with the except like Nala's Beyonce. It's still on the fence for me.
It's hard to recapture the magic that was the first one.
Maybe I gotta rewatch it, and that's my thing because with these Disney live action remakes, it's hard to recapture that same magic. I think Beauty and the Beast got damn close. Obviously, it's not Best Picture worthy like the original one was.
Yeah.
But I think Aladdin freaking nailed it. Like for being different enough.
Aladdin was great
while still being what the '92 Aladdin was when it came out. Yeah, and the legacy that Aladdin had, and you get Will Smith to be the genie. Everyone was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, but I
nailed it.
He could make it his own because I've never seen it live, but I've seen the performance of the Broadway stuff, and they didn't do Robin Williams. They made him more like a Cab Calloway, like nightclub singer. So it's like I know the potential is there to make it your own character, and Will Smith did it.
I'll be honest about that Aladdin remake. Mm-hmm. Whenever Will Smith paid homage to the Aladdin from '92, whenever he did like A Friend Like Me or what's that other one? Prince Ali.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. But whenever he did his own stuff, that really worked for me.
I really liked how in the cartoon, in the animated one, it was revealed in the third one, the genie was the street peddler. But what I like is they didn't do the street peddler they did it as like a merchant telling his kids the story, and then it's revealed at the end that he's married to the handmaid, and I'm like, I like that. I like that they did that.
Yeah. 50 Shades, what's going on? I watched it 4 times in the theaters to fully appreciate the new Lion King.
Yeah, it definitely takes because the original is it's so iconic, and
it's a cultural touchstone.
Exactly.
Of not only animation but of Disney.
And when they were making it, that was the B movie.
Yes.
That wasn't the A movie. A movie was Pocahontas.
Oh my God, yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
all the top animators at that time were working on Pocahontas.
Yep.
Who gave me? I might be mistaken. Is Pocahontas the one that Mel Gibson was a voice?
Yeah, Mel Gibson is John Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, and did that one takes a lot of liberties with history.
Yeah, I never saw it. I never saw it.
It's not that bad, but it's like I went and saw it with my mom, and I remember we came out, and she's just like, none of the history was in there. I was like, really? And then she told me about it in the car ride home. I'm like, holy shit.
This is how I feel about it. For a Disney animated movie, you go to be entertained. You don't go for an education.
Right, but of course, my mom never thinks like that. She's like, oh, they're doing.
I'm not putting shit on the mom or anything. I'm not saying.
Love you, Mom.
When I go to the movie, I go to be entertained. I don't go for education.
Hot take: Genie's love story in the new one was better than Aladdin's.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that.
Damn. I loved Mina Massoud and Naomi Scott. Like, I love them so much.
Her song in that movie, the original song for her, holy shit!
It felt out of nowhere, which it totally was.
Yeah.
But it was a good song. Naomi Scott's a good singer. Like, she doesn't sing in anything.
Sorry to cut you off, Ben. You what was your? You still here?
What happened?
I don't know, but 50 does bring up a good point. Christian Bale was in Pocahontas.
Who did he play?
He played Thomas. He was one of the younger people on the ship. But anyways, yeah. What was your thought? Again, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
What was I saying?
I don't remember.
I mean, yeah. What was like? Not up 9.
Oh, that'd do it.
There were 3 remakes. There was Lion King and the Beast and Aladdin.
And then there's also Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
That wasn't embarrassing at all.
They're like, okay.
I forgot I forgot who's talking.
Actually, 50 Sats, should he jump in? 50, do you want to join in on this Disney talk?
Yeah, I mean, 50, if you want to come chat Disney,
come on in.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw my man Soda has the Tarzan poster. I wore my Emperor's New Groove shirt to this.
I was like, that looks fucking familiar.
Emperor's New Groove, another one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite Disney movie of all time. The Emperor's New Groove. Yes.
That was one I've only seen a few, but every time I watch it, I fucking love it.
No, like it's I think it's the funniest movie Disney's ever made, at least that I've seen. And it's just one of those easy watches. I could pop it on at any point, and I always get a laugh out of it. And it's so quotable.
David Spade's so funny in there. Patrick Warburton's funny in there.
John Goodman is so wholesome in it, as he should be.
Yeah,
like just like stuff like that. You know, like I think that with what like it's so talk about character. Like I think the arc that Cusco has in that movie isn't original by any means.
No.
But it's so like the vocal performance, how the story is told, and like what you said, like the freaking Patrick Warburton, Eartha Kitt, David Spade.
They're a great combo, those two.
Right,
and villain and henchman. Fuck.
Like, and it's so good, and I think of the soundtrack to it all the time. Like, I love the Tom Jones song in the beginning.
Yeah.
The credits song with Sting did music for this movie, and it's so good.
Hey, 50.
50.
He heard Disney, his ears perked up.
Yeah, dude. Lion King. I mean, hell yeah. What do you like? The Emperor's New Groove?
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. That's all I like to hear, brother.
Would you say that's an underrated Disney movie?
The Emperor's New Groove?
Yeah.
10 years ago, I would have said yes. but now it sort of got its second coming because of all the memes that came out of that movie.
So would it probably fall under the cult? Would it fall under more of the cult category?
Yeah, I'd say that.
I would say that too. It's definitely a cult movie at this point. I know it didn't do too much at the box office. No. There are. If I read this article, I think it was from Vulture, talking about the actual making of this movie and how a movie was made with Owen Wilson as the lead, and it was a complete overhaul, and they gave it a whole new cast, a whole new Cusco version of Cusco, like a whole different plot and everything. Like the movie just changed.
When you say they gave it a whole new world?
Yes,
literally
a whole new groove, maybe.
Literally
a whole new groove. Yeah, like I always tell people,
Kingdom of the Sun was the original title of that.
Kingdom of the Sun.
It was supposed to be a more serious take on the character, more historically accurate version. But screw that. The version we got was amazing. I wouldn't trade that one for the world.
It's so
it was to have been a tale of a greedy, selfish emperor, David Spade, of course, who finds a peasant, Owen Wilson, who looks just like him. The emperor swaps places with the peasant to escape his boring life and have fun. So basically, it was going to be the Prince and the Pauper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they already did that.
Disney, of people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when it come out, 2000?
Yes,
2001.
15th, 2000. That's a 20-year-old movie. Holy shit!
So it came out towards the tail end of the Disney Renaissance.
Yes, which is my favorite era of Disney.
I mean, it's probably at this point. Like I know the discourse is like obviously Disney wouldn't be where it's at without Cinderella and Snow White and all that stuff. But at this point in pop culture, those 11, 12, 13 years of Disney are untouchable, in my opinion.
Yeah, from Great Mouse Detective all the way up to Tarzan, which is actually considered the last of the Disney Renaissance. So Emperor's New Groove would have been just after, but I mean, you could easily lump that in with it.
Yeah, to me, like I consider Emperor's New Groove the last because it's obviously it's one of my favorite.
Did you ever see the documentary Waking Sleeping Beauty?
No, I have not.
It's on Disney Plus. Sorry, 50. It's on Disney Plus, but basically it is a documentary about that period of time and from the voices of all the people involved: Jeffrey Katzenberg, Michael Eisner, Don Hahn. I think Lasseter might be in there. Like all the people that were there during that time working on those movies. It's not like this. It's all voiceover juxtaposed over actual footage from that time. Totally recommend watching it.
Hell yeah! Like I love that era of Disney. Like we talked like Aladdin and Lion King. I'm obviously Emperor's New Groove, Tarzan. Oh my god!
Yeah, arguably the best. One of the best collaborations with an artist.
Like it's Tarzan.
And he did it again.
Yeah, pretty much.
In Brother Bear.
Yeah,
right. Actually, that is one I haven't seen, unfortunately.
Another
yeah, it's very unusual that there's a movie, especially Disney.
I haven't seen it either.
I'd recommend. I haven't seen Brother Bear in forever, but I loved it as a child.
The only thing I know about it is it has Canadian icons Bob and Doug McKenzie in it, where and Dave Thomas. They play the Moose.
Yeah,
Moose, whatever.
Mooses. That's what I say.
Is Brother Bear on Disney Plus? I might have to rewatch that.
It has to be. Hold on, I've got it saved right here.
Because like another movie with another great Phil Collins soundtrack. Joaquin Phoenix is in that son of a bitch. So
is he the main character?
Yeah, he's the main character. Keenine.
And yes, it is. Brother Bear 1 and 2 is on.
Fun fact: there's a bit of a Disney cameo in that movie.
Oh,
Nemo pops up.
Is he?
It's a definition of blink and you miss it, but there's a moment when the guys are picking up all the fish from the river.
Yeah.
If you look closely, there's a tiny red fish with white stripes on it.
So one of the things that Disney was always known for at the time, I don't know if they still do it now, but in a movie they have hidden somewhere, like with Nemo, the main character from the next movie.
Oh,
right, like Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
I like the one in Hercules.
Where he's wearing Scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has to be my personal all-time favorite of the Disney Renaissance.
I had a lot of that.
Sorry,
I
lie.
had a lot of
1A and 1B with Hunchback. Those are my
Wow.
two.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure Belle also appears in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
She
that's
does.
right. As one of the little wooden figures. Yeah.
Well, no, she's
No,
like there's like an
she appears
overhead
in the
shot. Yeah, it's like an overhead shot of the town.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
see
yeah.
someone reading in blue, and it's Belle. So-
Also, the Beast is one of the little figurines that the Sultan is
that's what I was
building
thinking
a
of,
tower with.
the figurine. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like-
it's such a great movie. Hellfire, man, that is a very adult Disney song and very underrated.
The ballsiest song Disney's ever produced.
Yeah, the ballsiest one for sure.
Oh yeah, Hunchback. I mean, I don't know what about it never clicked with me as a child when I was watching Hunchback, and that's one that deserves a rewatch for me because I can't formally like give you guys an opinion on that movie because it's been forever since I've seen it. But like for me, like my favorites, like if discounting Emperors, Aladdin, damn. I haven't seen Little Mermaid in forever, but
It's been a couple years.
I was legit. I was thinking about it last night. I'm like, should I watch Little Mermaid right now? Like is this gonna be weird?
It's a
Like,
quick watch. It's only an hour.
It's never a bad time to watch The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Here's something for you guys. Little Mermaid has the scariest villain scene for me of all the Disney
Is
villains.
it the scene at the end where Ursula gets really big, or is it her transformation scene? Yeah.
No, when she gets really big.
Listen. I watched that movie once as a child and didn't watch it until I was like 18 because I was so afraid of Ursula. And the same thing with Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Those are two movies that I've watched the least because I was so scared of the main villain. And somehow the witch from Snow White wasn't that bad enough for me.
Basically, what it came down to me was growing up is which one I owned, and I didn't own Little Mermaid until I was in my 20s, even though I had seen it. Same with Pocahontas. That was one I didn't own. Mulan was one I didn't own, but I had watched
another.
Oh yeah, they're great, and it's like, why the fuck did I own these? But basically, the ones I owned were Rescuers Down Under, Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. Like those were the ones I owned, and I watched the most.
Like I would put for me the top. It's a tie between Tarzan and Aladdin. Like I remember when that. I forgot who made it, but that like Legend of Tarzan movie came out with that Skarsgård and Margot Robbie and Sam Jackson was in it. And it's fine. Like it's alright.
It's fine.
But I wanted freaking I wanna know. Like I wanted like that. And I'm like, this is obviously
it wasn't just doing it.
Right.
In my heart.
And I cannot listen to You Be My Heart without crying. I can't.
Oh yeah. Of course. That is Son of Man and
I mean, the damn song won an Oscar, so it's like the movie's Tarzan is so good, and just every time I look at your screen soda, I look at the.
So this was happenstance. This was pure luck. My movie theater, when Captain Marvel was out, they had this big rack full of tubes with posters, and they had movies written on them, but they weren't always the movies. So I bought like $40 worth of posters, and I pulled out the tube, and that was one of them.
Oh, it's cool.
So my Logan one in the living room where he's holding X-23's hand.
Damn, that's a good one.
That was my first friend one. I've got BVS in my room. I've got Ant-Man. I've got Power Rangers. I've got The Patriot. I've got The Grinch. I've got Mission Impossible 2. I got a really kick-ass what was the fucking not Elysium. What was the movie with Dane DeHaan? And,
I love that Avengers poster.
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yes, I have a really kick-ass Valerian one. And I am jealous. My goal is to get the Avengers Endgame one framed when it comes down in price.
Right. Yeah.
This one's bad.
Oh yeah.
That Avengers one's like that poster's so cool.
Yeah.
Like both like Infinity War and Endgame that has some kick-ass posters.
And in front of me, I have Batman Returns. I had to buy that one.
Oh, dude, another great Batman flick. At a time, again, that was my favorite Batman flick for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, like 89 and Batman Returns, they were so I held them so close to my heart.
How you guys were saying like Ben and 50 like Ursula scared you? Nicholson's Joker scared me.
Really?
So up until I was probably about 13, now Batman 89 was the one I watched the least because I found the Joker that unsettling.
Wow.
Old Penguin. Old Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The Penguin is great. I think hot take again. I think Batman Returns is better than the original 1989 Batman, and I think The Penguin by Danny DeVito was better than Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Ooh, that one is a hot take.
I said hot take.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you on Batman Returns being the better one, but really, DeVito over Nicholson, eh?
It got hot in here.
And DeVito is great in that movie. Like,
Yes,
that
he
is a transformation and a half.
My name's not Oswald! It's Penguin! I am not a human being! I am an animal! Cold-blooded!
Why haven't you done that Halloween costume yet?
He even went as far as doing the hands. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Look, so Batman Returns. I mean, now I've come around. Batman Begins, my favorite Batman flick.
Amen, brother.
Like Batman Begins is the shit. Batman 89 is a close second. Then Batman Returns. And then like I love Dark Knight, but I have talk about hot takes. I think the Dark Knight's a tad overrated. Like
it is easily the best, but
it's the best.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, if I were to pop on a Batman movie right now, I'm watching Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Batman, and then Batman Forever or Batman Returns. Shit, I watched Batman Forever. That's the last Batman movie I watched.
Same. I'd even throw in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
Ooh. I mean, Master of the Phantasm has been talked about a lot lately. For Schmodown reasons. I love Under the Red Hood personally.
Me too. One of my favorite Batman comics and definitely one of the better movies.
Another good one. It's hard to find a bad Batman flick, and I don't give a shit what people say about the Schumacher movies. They're fun as hell to watch. Fully knowing and Lego Batman
and
too.
the Lego Batman movie.
Lego
yes,
Batman is a good Batman movie.
That is a good. It's an unconventional Batman movie,
but it's awfully Batman.
Better than all the other ones. The spirit of what
definitely top tier of the Batman movies. No question there.
Yeah,
and Will better job of exploring the Joker Batman relationship.
I agree with you on being a little overrated. I agree with that too.
Just a tad. Not like I'm not saying that movie's bad. No, it's not. It's probably the best comic book film. Yes, it's probably the best comic book film ever made. But at the same time,
until Logan.
You know what? I'm with Logan.
Infinity War.
Infinity War is another good one, and like I
rewatched comic book Endgame just for pure comic book.
Yes,
that is what you say is a comic book come to life.
Oh sure, then yeah.
I would argue that Infinity War is more than Endgame.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It all depends.
The last hour of Endgame.
I mean,
if you took a splash page from a comic book and threw it onto the screen, that's Endgame.
My explanation to this is all the other ones are movies based on comic books. Infinity War is a literal comic book movie, beginning to end. Endgame, not so much.
Really? Why do you think Infinity War is like that over Endgame?
Well, first, it's like Infinity War, unlike Endgame, it's definitely separated into separate chapters.
Yeah,
and you can definitely tell when one chapter ends and the next one begins. And with in Endgame, I was talking about Infinity War. In Endgame, it's more or less mushed together in a way that I enjoy, but you can't really tell like when. Okay, so the beginning, Thanos gets the Space Stone. And Bruce Banner ends up on Earth. Chapter 1. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and Iron Man end up in space. Chapter 2. This is chapter 3. This. You can literally separate it into like 6 or 8 chapters. But with Endgame, you don't have that kind of definition. You like maybe at the beginning, where like the prologue where they kill Thanos, that's like one chapter. Then it's just a mix of several different things that don't necessarily transition from one to the other as seamlessly as it did in Infinity War. Also, I think
definitely. I will say Infinity War is like Dark Knight is the better movie.
I agree.
I'm not gonna argue with that. It just for me it comes down to like I look at Endgame and especially that third act. and to see all these things happening, to see Cap with Mjolnir, and so that it's like I'm reading JLA Avengers all over again, but I'm seeing it happen in front of me.
Every time a portal scene happens, I should have had this in my top 5 last weekend. Every time the portal scene happens, I get teary-eyed and I get choked up.
Yeah, that movie kicks into another gear right there.
Yeah, but that's one of my arguments against it, because you're waiting for that scene. You care less about the scenes leading up to it. That's why I don't think it's as a complete package. Same with Infinity War is.
If I totally agree with you, 50, about how Infinity War is a better movie. I think there might even be no debate on that, because Endgame, there you can poke holes in that son of a bitch, but people don't think about that because it's cool, as they should. It's fun. Right, it's fun as hell. It's a movie about fictional characters. Let's get over ourselves. Yeah. But Infinity War, to your point, 50, about it being like a comic book movie, I would agree with that sentiment if and only if the movie ended with a snap and it cut the credits. Like that would be better. I would instantly agree with you. But since we saw the aftermath, which for emotional effect and for dramatic effect, they did show us as they should have. But if the movie ended at the snap with a white screen with black credits rolling over it, oh my God. Like, that would have been one hell of a way to end your movie. And the end credit scene maybe is seeing people disappear. And then they make us wait a year to see who got dusted. Like, that's where I'm like,
You kind of did get that, though, in Endgame, because, I mean, like, you knew, like, obviously the principal characters who got dusted. But, I mean, then to see you Endgame, it's like, oh, he got dusted, she got dusted. It's like, you do get that in Endgame.
And I'm not going to lie. Go ahead, Ben. Finish your phone.
I mean, they're going to say, don't forget, in an ongoing story, we had Spider-Man from Far From Home, there's the aftermath.
The epilogue, which is a great epilogue. My favorite Spider-Man film. I'm not going to deny that. That. Yeah.
Far From Home?
Far From Home is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
And WandaVision. And right in the middle of WandaVision.
Right, and WandaVision, I guess, technically takes place before Far From Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 7 months before Far From Home.
In a few hours.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can watch that in the morning.
And I was going to say earlier, what you just said about it ending with the snap. When the snap happened, I honestly believed that was where they were going to end the movie.
So did I.
I mean, the entire movie, I was hoping the snap would happen. I didn't think it would. But when the snap happened, I was like, this is where the movie should end. And then they hit us with another gut punch of showing us everyone else.
And don't get me wrong. I think like Spider-Man getting dusted was one of the most emotional moments in the entire MCU, WandaVision included. So like I'm glad we did see that, and I love Infinity War for what it is. It's just like, if they ended that movie on a snap, that would have been such a ballsy move. Talk about ballsy. Sure. Like, you make us wait a year to see those principal characters and who got dusted or not. Like, and you make us wait.
What they did was ballsy on its own. It's just what you proposed would have been even more ballsy.
Yeah, it would have been. And I know, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp came out afterwards, but it took place beforehand or during the events of Infinity War. So, like, it was like that. We had that gap to at least that Marvel movie to help us lead into Endgame, and then Captain Marvel, of course, lead into Endgame. But damn, it would have been ballsy as hell. But to your point, Soda, Far From Home being your favorite Spider-Man movie. I see it. It's I might go as far as saying it's my favorite live action Spider-Man, but Into the Spider-Verse to me, dude.
Yeah, okay, fair point. Into the Spider-Verse is the best one. I was more thinking the live action ones.
And I agree with you on that sentiment then.
Yeah, 100%. Because you get so
that. I don't like that line of things, like saying that, oh yeah, this is good because it's animated, it doesn't count.
No. When I said that it was my favorite, it's because for some reason I forgot for a split second about Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I had a brain fart, forgot about it for a second.
Okay.
But when it comes to the live action stuff, yes, Far From Home is my favorite live action Spider-Man, but the best, hands down, most fun. awesome Spider-Man movie is Into the Spider-Verse.
See, I have to disagree with you guys. Like, I get hate for that. My favorite Spider-Man movie, animated, live action, whatever. I have the most fun with this one. Homecoming.
Oh,
Yeah. No denying how good that movie is.
Spider-Man Homecoming, it reintroduced a character, at least to me, like, I know Andrew Garfield was the Spider-Man before that, but a lot of people skip over him for unfair reasons.
Agreed.
And
he was my favorite for a long time.
Right. And then when Tom Holland showed up in Homecoming, like aside from Civil War, when he was in Homecoming, I truly believed it was like a breath of fresh air for the character, and they did such a good job handling it. Is it a little too Iron Man-y at points? Totally. But you kind of needed that Uncle Ben-esque role, and it was through Tony Stark. Like, I love Homecoming. I love Homecoming.
Yeah, that's like that's up there. That's like number 3.
And I'll be honest, Keaton is my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh yeah. Oh god. The scene in the fucking car where he's telling him,
"Oh my god,
come on."
He had the gun in his hand, dude.
Yeah.
I know Alfred Molina just popped up in the chat, and he has some questions for you, Ben. But that Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 was really damn good. And because I know like Keaton brought something different that we hadn't seen. He wasn't just the villain; he was the love interest dad. And obviously, it's not a trope that we've seen before. It's not a trope that we haven't seen before. But something about it being in a Spider-Man movie about a teenager who's a superhero just hit different at the time.
And also, like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I did not see that coming. So when he opened the door, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Right, because it's a black girl and
where it's going, but you don't want
it's not. I never would have thought that character would have been a father.
Oh, that too. That was my thought process. I'm like, Liz
no,
Allen,
no,
a black girl.
No.
Black daughter and stuff.
He says in the movie that he's a father.
Yeah,
he says in the movie that he does have a daughter.
Okay, fair point. It's just I didn't connect the dots.
Word, and I mean that's how I go into movies. I don't think too hard about them. Like I watch them, and I that's why I'm always so surprised when I see things. But I will take it that step further and saying Liz Allen was black, or at least we found out she was mixed, and I'm like, oh, Michael Keaton, he's a white guy. Like, that can't be her father. And then he opens the door, and I'm in the theater like, oh, and then it sucks the air out of the room because we all know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
And oh god, I love Michael Keaton as Vulture, and I'm. It's awesome that we got to see Vulture on screen too. Like as a fan of Spider-Man, I like that they took a different approach with who the villain was. I was tired of seeing Green Goblin. I didn't want to see Venom again, although we got him the next year in a different movie. But the fact that they did Michael Keaton, he was that damn good. It speaks volumes.
And I'm waiting for Craven, man, because I got a feeling if they cast the right person as Craven, that's going to be the best Spider-Man.
Who's your Craven? Who's your Craven then?
Who's my Craven?
If Kevin Feige was like,
Craven.
Right. If Kevin Feige went up to you, Soda, and he said, "You get to cast Craven, who you picking?"
Fuck that.
Anyway,
well, I know.
Hit me with the bet.
For me, Keanu.
I was about to say that.
Keanu, yeah.
I was about to say that.
Keanu Reeves would be. Oh god, be so
you and I are too much alike, Ben.
Take him, Sean Rick. Take him, Sean Rick. Hold him down just a little bit. Give him a pandemic against Spider-Man. That's fucking Craven.
So I don't know what his future is like with the DCEU, but I would like to see Joe Manganiello.
I was thinking the same thing, dude. Like,
he's got the look.
And I think people have talked to him about Craven before. So his name's been around the character for years now. And then he got Deathstroke, and we thought that was going to be it, but Deathstroke, like in Justice League. So now he's open. He got time. And if they were to do Craven in with the Tom Holland universe, which would make so much sense.
Based on how the last one ended, if they don't go that route, it's like, why? Like, that's the obvious one.
Right, like they're probably gonna pull the like, oh, that wasn't me, and then Craven's gonna be like, no, that was you.
Yeah.
Well, I see what you guys are saying, but it's an easy fit. That part of a movie is an easy fit. They get a school to come out for his Peter and have the wheel meter spinning around. Boom.
But why would you do that? Why would you set that up just to finish it off so easily? Like narratively, why would you do that?
Why do we need it?
I've never seen it before. We never seen a Spider-Man movie where everybody knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man and he's supposedly a bad guy. We never seen that before.
Way out of fucking left field. Jensen Ackles
as Kraven the Hunter.
Okay,
I like it.
Think about it. He has experience as a hunter.
And who's the other guy? Who's the other guy?
14 years of it, as a matter of fact.
Why am I blanking on Jared Padalecki.
Jared Padalecki. Yeah.
I don't know.
There's something. Sorry?
He's missing right now.
Yeah, he's doing Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
But there's just something about Jensen Ackles when he plays angry and pissed off and evil, I think would work.
We're going to see him in The Boys. He's going to be in season 3 of The Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Lamplighter.
Yeah, Lamplighter.
What? Oh, my God. I'm trying to think of another name. Like, I mean, if I had to pick one, Joe Manganiello's that guy.
He has the look.
He has the look for it.
I have another name for you. It might be a little too controversial. Tell me if it is.
If you say Neil Patrick Harris, I'm going to laugh. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto?
If he wasn't Morbius,
I forgot about that.
I'd give you that one.
That's true. And also, you wouldn't want him to actually hunt down animals just to get into character, would you?
Right.
That's true.
Jared Leto he'd hunt down like teenage boys. It's like, I gotta get into character.
He would send them back to their parents in a box.
Because he might be. Okay, so what Marvel does, or what Marvel Studios and Sony have been doing with Spider-Man villains, they bring in these A-list actors to come in and be them one-off in that scene. Yeah. Or at least supposedly. Like Michael Keaton, although he might be in Morbius. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, another great villain, by the way. Yeah. And then, if you want to get this...
You do see at the very end of Far From Home. So
I thought that was the illusion. I don't want to theorize about Mysterio. I could be on this all day. Because I would love more Mysterio. I think if you want to get in one guy for one movie, if he's Kraven the Hunter, if he's not Moon Knight, which is all but confirmed at this point, Oscar Isaac would be so damn cool as Kraven the Hunter. If he wasn't Moon Knight, because I want him to be Moon Knight really bad, but I don't want to get it twisted.
Yeah, I want Keanu as Moon Knight.
If Keanu Reeves, if this was 10 years ago, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because I think Moon Knight has potential to do more than just do the TV shows. I know a lot of these TV shows are crossover into the movies. How exactly with Moon Knight to be real? Because that's a weird ass character. Moon Knight is weird as hell.
He's so Bruce Wayne with a fractured mind.
Right. I mean, even more fractured mind.
Even more fractured. Yeah.
So Moon Knight is going to already be really weird. And although WandaVision proves that the MCU can get weird and it work, so I don't know how that'll translate. But if that's not Oscar Isaac, then I would love him to one-off appearance, one-off, maybe two, Kraven the Hunter. Because part of me wants to make Kraven Latino, and so that's what I want Joe Manganiello really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I want Joe Manganiello really damn bad. If you want,
honestly, I think a Latino Kraven would be awesome. Would probably be the best route to go.
Because like when I think of Kraven the Hunter, I think of a Latino man. Like that's just what I think of.
Even though he's Russian.
Yeah, right. Like
making him Russian made sense in the 60s when the character was created. For now, in today's context, it makes more sense for him to be Latino.
I think
as a hunter.
In the Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man series that was on Disney XD a few years ago. I want to say my man had an accent, and that wasn't Russian. And maybe that's where I got the idea from. I'm like,
sorry, what was the show?
Oh, it was the Ultimate Spider-Man.
It was voiced by Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich, really?
Yeah, Batman from Batman Brave and the Bold. And,
no, you're talking about the guy from the Drew Carey show?
Yes.
Baker? Lord Jesus. Well, I might be the look of the character, I should say. Maybe not the voice actor, because obviously Dietrich Baker's not a Latino man. No. But they could definitely take liberties with Craven. Like, even then, if he was Russian or something, it's not core to his character. You could change that.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like Black Panther, who has to be black.
Like, exactly. Like, what's up, Ben?
No, nothing.
Like you could take liberties with Craven, and whoever the hell they get, if they do that, if they go that route, because we still don't know technically who the main antagonist is in Spider-Man 3.
You're right. Now, you want to hear something funny?
I think that's
you know who voices Craven in the Spider-Man animated show from the 90s?
Who's Craven?
On me.
Worf.
Who?
What? From Star Trek.
Michael Dorn?
Michael Dorn voiced Craven in the 90s Spider-Man TV show.
Is that that's the one where like near the quick the
yeah. The one that
The team played at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show ruled. That Spider-Man show rules.
It's been a long
And they did the Spider-Verse before there even was a Spider-Verse.
That's right.
Yeah. They had Madam Web and everything.
And the Clone Saga, and they did all the great classic storylines.
That was my introduction to Mysterio. That's right.
That was my introduction to Spider-Man.
Yes, mine too.
Ooh. That look might have been mine too, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You know what, before...
Go ahead.
Before Jake Gyllenhaal was cast as Mysterio, I always thought that Zachary Quinto would have made a good Mysterio, because if you look at the comics, Quentin Beck almost in every single comic book iteration looks like Spock. That was like my joke casting for Mysterio for a long time.
Yo,
you look at
dude, he would make a great...
He looks like Spock.
You know, he would make a great Craven.
Zachary Quinto?
Think about Star Trek Into Darkness, when after Kirk dies, and he unleashes that like animalistic hatred on Khan. Think about that as Craven.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I like Zachary Quinto.
Me too. Keep it like.
Go ahead, Ben.
Nothing. I'm just looking at that time here.
Yeah, we've actually gone over. We normally only do an hour, but we're almost on an hour.
Sorry, it's me.
No, whenever it's the conversation, man. We're letting out our inner sweaty.
Yeah, right. Like I'm legitimately sweating right now. And the second that we started talking Disney, I'm like, all right, we're gonna be here for a while, and I'm cool with that. Like,
for sure. It doesn't make sense to not talk Disney and have 50 not be here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you, 50.
What? Pleasure is all mine, believe me.
Tell me this: does he not look like Daniel Radcliffe?
Oh my god!
That's my whole high school years.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my god, you do look like
Yiddish Harry Potter. Okay. Well, you're Jewish, aren't you?
But why? Not Yiddish.
That's right. Yiddish is the language. I'm sorry. Anywho, on that note, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. 50, thank you for dropping in. Chris, thank you for joining us. We'll definitely have to have you back on, because we could have gone on for hours and hours on this conversation.
Just to think, we started talking. I opened up with hotels in space, and we ended on.
I told you it's
on Zachary Quinto.
And Yiddish.
It's like the guy from Friends. You guys remember the episode where they had that guy, they called him Gandalf, where they started a conversation with him and somehow they ended up over the border or something like that. Something crazy like that.
Oh, I love characters like that. It's like dealing with Barney Stinson.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anywho, Chris, where could everybody find you?
You see my handle right there. C Anthony Lopez. That's on Twitter. Add an underscore between the C and the A. You'll find me on Instagram. You can catch me on the Who Are They ? Real 2 E's Entertainment YouTube channel. I co-host Spin from the Reel and Wrestle Reel, a show that Soda's actually been on.
Yes, sir.
So
I can't wait to see you guys take on WrestleMania this year.
Ooh, and I will actually we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. So Wrestle Reel on Fridays, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, and Spin from the Reel is 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central on Mondays. And you can catch my personal podcast, For Chris's Sake, CHRIS _sake, SAKE. It's my everything podcast. I talk about whatever I want to on that thing. This past week, I had my boy Taylor Cleek on, and we talked about his favorite movie, Fight Club. We talked about Fight Club for almost 2 hours.
Holy
so
shit.
you can go ahead and check that podcast for Chris's sake, wherever you find your pods. Thank you, guys. This was fun.
Oh, of course. Like I said, we'll have to have you back on because, I mean, like I said, the conversation could have gone forever. 50. What about you?
Should I do my plugs? Because I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, you want in the family. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So you can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can also find me on my second channel, 50 Shades of Gaming. You can find me occasionally on Twitch. I do a series where I try to beat all of Pokemon Shield using only a Shedinja. If you're a Pokemon fan, you know how frustrating that is. And I see Chris is laughing his ass off. And also you can sign up to my Patreon, patreon.com/Pokemon Star, Cross, and Crescent. I make a Pokemon fan game based on Israel, the country where I live in.
Oh, you're in Israel right now. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, what time is it right now? 50?
Give me a second. Oh, it's 6 a.m.
Jesus.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's when I fucking get up.
Literally just saw someone go out for a morning walk, for a morning cigar.
Oh my God.
That's when I get up for work at 6 a.m. Jesus.
Right. Same. Lord.
Yeah. Ben, we're going to put you
don't have work.
You can find me at my Twitter at BenReson2. You can find me here every Friday on Recapping the Past with Matt. Every Saturday on the flagship show with 50 here and Matt here again. Every Sunday on Ben's Hot Take. Every Tuesday right here on Shooting the Breeze. And every Saturday on Matt Schmodown, the Schmodown show. And we're talking about the Schmodown. And we might have an announcement coming out.
Yes.
I
was going to say that. I was going to say that, something about that. So you can find me over on my other YouTube channel, Schmoes of the North, where we do the breakdown of what's going on the week in Schmodown, and we interview people and what have you from around the league. So this is going to air after the fact. So
no, me live.
This is live?
Yeah.
How do you think I found you guys?
Right. Sorry. Bonkers. So tomorrow night we're going live after the pay-per-view. I won't be on there, but Ben and Ryan from Mount Schmodown will be our special guests on there. And like Ben said, there is a special announcement, and it is going to happen tomorrow night at the end of the live stream.
Ooh.
Yes. So definitely check that out. And
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's an exciting announcement. Obviously, I know about it, but and on that note, everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and don't forget, everybody, stay sweaty and smash cancer.
Smash cancer.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah.